Hello, and welcome to this webinar or short masterclass for lunchtime for Create Life Free from Diabetes. And my name is Monica Matea, and I'm here to present 6 easy, not so easy, you decide, steps that can help you during your journey with diabetes, whether you've been just diagnosed as pre-diabetic, whether you have had type 2 diabetes for a while, whether you are on medications, off medications. I think all of these steps can really improve some aspects of managing diabetes, and in some cases as well, help you to reverse it. So I'm checking whether there are any more people to let in. But I think I can go and start with this. Okay, so thank you for being here. And I'm just hoping that you're going to take a little bit of learning from this webinar. Now, I wanted to introduce myself. So my name is Monica Matea, and I'm a holistic and certified coach, health coach, and a life coach. And I specialize in habit change method. And I help people to reverse diabetes, especially type 2, naturally with mindset, nutrition, stress management, and in a very holistic way, because I think that what works for most of the people in order to create long and everlasting results. I'm also a holistic naturopathic chef. I teach people to cook for health, focusing on plant-based nutrition and fermentation for gut health. My accreditation comes from the Health Coach Institute, where I finished over 2 years coaching certification. You know, it's not, coaching is like, oh, I can do coaching because I know how to give people recommendation and advice. But coaching is so different and requires so many different skill sets to help people to get where they want to be, because we have so much baggage either from the past or in the present, or we worry about the future. I also have certificate or diploma in naturopathic chef, so College of Naturopathic Medicine in London, when I've learned for over 9 months to cook for health, focusing on a plant-based nutrition. I'm really into the mindset. I'm really working with people to help them to understand how they got to the point, but not focusing much of that, but actually making sure I hold them accountable, but also I believe in them first so that they can achieve the lifestyle and the life they truly desire in any area of life, to be honest. But health, I think, is such a foundation. I have been featured in many magazines, and I love sharing what I do, but also how I can help. So today we're going to talk about 6 steps and how to create the life free from diabetes. It's all covered in my freebie, which you can go into the website reversediabetesnaturally.co.uk. And this is where you will find, and you can download this for yourself. And I call it like a 6 steps holistic process. So it's mindset, nutrition, movement, hydration, accountability, and celebration. I don't want to make diabetes only about nutrition, because for many people it's not sustainable. Like they want to know about diabetes, and when they first learn, and maybe that's you, that you have been diagnosed with diabetes and you're absolutely scared, because a lot of people come and they discover this accidentally by doing the blood test, and they're confused. They don't know how they got there, but also they don't know how to get out of it, right, as well. So I help you to understand a lot of that, but also focusing on the future, because there's no point in dealing with the past all the time, because you may have been trying for a very long time to do it on your own, and you feel like it's the time to give up or it's not going to work. So I want to simplify this for you, so that you can take small steps towards reversing diabetes, but also managing it better if that's what you want to do. Mindset. That's the first step. So health is the mindset game. And people say, well, no, health is just about healthy habits. Like I go to sleep, I eat, I drink water, I know what to eat, I exercise, and I'm totally healthy. But it's most of the time about the mindset in order to create long-term results, and starting in a holistic way. Now, mindset is something that is very intangible. Like mindsets by its own won't help you to lose weight and won't help you to reverse diabetes. But in combination with other things like nutrition, like hydration, like movement, it will definitely help. Mindset is about, like, we can feel that there is a lot of mindset information out there. Oh, like, have a good mindset for growth, mindset for this. What I would always say, mindset is a very unique way, because we all think differently about different things. So we think that health, for some people, health is okay, it's given. For some people, health is like, I wish I could do something earlier, but I didn't. And for some, health is really the area of growth. This is what I want to put for myself in the next year, or even now. Like, I hope that you are not in that boat of new year, new me, because I just believe you can start at any point. And I've never believed that you can start in the December time with the Christmas and there is a lot of events. But I believe now that it's such a great time to start working on yourself, to transforming it and training yourself in a very harsh conditions, to be honest, because there is a lot of parties going on, a lot of different things, and you train your resilience. And I think more than anything, this time of the year is actually training your thoughts and training yourself and your resilience to get where you want to be, because of everything else, what's going on, right? And when you have a chronic illness, when you deal with a chronic illness, when you deal with the risk of chronic, remember that pre-diabetes is the risk. It's not a full-blown diabetes. It's a risk of actually having diabetes in the future. You are at the amazing time to use it as your superpower to transform it, rather than, oh, why did I get it? I didn't know. And I know it's quite difficult maybe for the first time to handle the diagnosis and so, like, well, I don't understand it. But then is, how can I transform it for my benefits, right? So I can get out of it. And the trouble is sometimes the diabetes has like the public health care, right? So we may go to the doctors, we can go to the diabetic nurse, and we not always hear the consistent messaging. What I want you to give you, the consistent message, right? Also, that you can do this. You can be off the medications if you want to. It may not be overnight, but it will happen at some point. And, but still you have to make sure that you stay under the healthcare of your doctor or the nurse, because they will advise you better in terms of the medications, in terms of the lifestyle, the habit change, and creating everlasting results, good results. I think coaching is something that I truly believe is a game changer. So mindset is about emotions as well. So emotions rule our life and quite often dictate the choice we make around food and drinks and lifestyle overall, right? So in Christmas, like, I'm just gonna treat myself. I'm gonna have chocolates, hot chocolates. I'm gonna have drinks on this, and that, and the other. And by the time you know it, you have your sugar levels through the roof, and you're not feeling great. And then you back to this cycle of, okay, I'm going to be better in January. I want you to ask yourself the question, do you want December to be slightly different, right? But still fun, still energetic, still beautiful, right? Because it can totally be. So I'm just inviting you to a short exercise. Just close your eyes for a moment. Take a few deep breaths, because we're breathing to calm our nervous system down, right? We feel truly aligned where we are right now. However, we want to step into our future self. So take a deep breath and imagine ourselves in 3 months' time. We look at ourselves. What do we wear? What do we do? What do we eat? Where are we? Well, how do we feel at that point in our life? Now, we're stepping into that empowered identity of ourselves, who is taking the right steps to reversing type 2 diabetes. So in 3 months' time, as a person who knows what to do, what do you do? How do you feel? You allow yourself a space to grow, to make mistakes, to take a break for a short while and then coming back to it. Imagine yourself as a person who is totally clear on his goals. I know where I want to be, and I trust my choices. I know how to choose the food well, how to deal with my cravings, how to be around my family and friends, and honoring myself as a person who exactly knows what to do with a chronic illness or being at risk of a chronic illness. I want you to imagine a lot of details. What do you wear? What do you smell? How do you look like? And I want you to send a lot of love to that person. I'm getting there. I'm becoming her, him. Take a 3 deep breaths. And you can open your eyes. Now, I love those short visualization exercises because when we create the health, the new mindset for our health, it's not about only about thoughts, but how we also feel about them in our body. Embodiment means getting all the thoughts that serve us into our DNA, into our body, into our core, and living them every day. Okay, so you can always come back to the short visualization. And I have my vision board just in front of me, and it always inspires me to live the healthiest life I can. And I let go if I make a mistake as well. So for me, that resilience, that possibility of being the healthiest version of myself, not being really addicted to any kind of foods, like food freedom for me, even with a chronic illness, is a massive, massive mindset shift. And I teach that in my programs and in my coaching too. Nutrition. I want to make nutrition very, very simple for a lot of people. And whenever I coach people who come to me, they've quite often tried a lot of different things, right? A lot of different ways of doing. And it's like, I'm not good in dieting. I've tried it 7 times or whatever. And I said, that's good. That's good, because you are in the right place now to actually transform it. Because you can imagine that you haven't tried any of it. And I think every time you try, every time you actually are able to make mistakes, right? You're getting stronger, right? It's like going to the gym and going to train for something. You know, every time we're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Okay, so a lot of in diabetes, and when you go into public care, they will tell you, well, you can now eat, and you will get the whole list of things you can't eat. I always focus on what you can add to your diet first. And yes, some of the things you have to be aware of. So for me, is looking at the healthy swabs, reducing the amount of refined sugar, and then actually banishing it and not having it at all. But it's one step at a time. In a fast-paced, busy lives, we need to allow ourselves time to cook for a bit, and also, put the healthy habits in place. I have the approach of optimum carb plan. I'm not into low carb as such, but everyone is different. So I meet you where you are. But I believe that optimum carb is somewhere that allows us more flexibility. And yes, in low carb diets, where you exclude a lot of carbs, you're going to get results quickly. You're going to reverse diabetes, right? But is it sustainable? Is it something that you can sustain for the rest of your life? Because diabetes, you manage for the rest of your life. The main idea behind nutrition is to increase insulin sensitivity. You are pre-diabetic because your insulin is not working as it should. So you have some insulin resistance, and we need to fight that. And so we're increasing the sensitivity by replacing some simple carbs with complex carbs, by adding healthy fats and removing saturated fats, by sleeping better, obviously, moving a little bit more, and all of that. So that is an example of a simple carbs and complex carbs. Now, all of us gonna crave some simple carbs at different stages in our life. Like, it's difficult to avoid because a lot of us have been brought up in the kind of the food reward scheme. Like, I'm going to reward myself with the unhealthy food because I have been good, or I have worked hard, or I had a tough day, I'm stressed. So the reward factor is very strong in a lot of the people. But you can totally transform this and make nutrition work for you, not against you. Movement. This is a very controversial way where we think that movement will help us to lose weight in the first place. I always say movement is all about fun and energy. You lose weight in the kitchen and you get fit in the gym. That's the main principle, because if you don't transform the way you eat in a way that supports your movement and reversing of type 2 diabetes, then the movement will just do very little to you, right? It also depends where you are on your journey. Maybe your nutrition is almost there, then you can add a little bit more movement. But if you start adding a lot of movement without nutrition, you're going to be hungry. On a low carb diet, you're going to be hungry. You're not going to have energy. You're going to hate going to the gym. And a lot of these things going to happen. So we need to look at how we can add movement into your daily schedule. And there are some key principles: 150 minutes of moderate activity, 75 minutes of vigorous activity, some cardio, a combination of both. Do you do that now? So the question is where you can add more movement that is fun, right? Can I add 60 minutes of yoga and Pilates? It counts as a moderate movement, right? Can I add some cardio, some quicker walk, for example, or some dancing, right, or swimming? That is so important. In terms of aging process, the more cardio we add, the better we will be in increasing our insulin sensitivity and also not putting on weight. I've noticed that even if I don't overeat, if I have a little bit more carb and I don't move, I put the weight, and that's how my clients as well, around my waist. And that's what I don't want to do it. I'm type 1 diabetic. So it's very much so the thing for me, managing the balanced sugar levels, because when they go very low, I have to eat something to get them up, because I inject insulin through the pump. So it's manually adjusted most of the time. So I can overdo it sometimes. So it's a very delicate balance. In type 2 diabetes, you don't necessarily have that. But then again, you still can run into the thing that you can be hungry and your sugar can get lower. Now, one thing just to mention on the nutrition part, like a lot of people, I'm going to do keto, I'm going to do intermittent fasting, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this. Whereas that basic nutrition for diabetes is not really there yet. You can absolutely expand into keto if you want to, although I don't recommend it in a longer period of time, because not everyone is very good in actually transforming or digesting and fat or burning fat for energy. We have different types of the body. And then intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, I believe, absolutely, if we can be in that calorie restrictive way between the meals and between the last meal of the day and the first meal of the day, I think we just have like the golden ticket to do it, right? But we have to make sure that the bases are fine. Yeah, we work for you with some flexibility, and we can add on different things as well. Hydration. I think this is very much so omitted as like too simple. I'm just only gonna drink water and I'm gonna be healthier. But so many of us actually forget, especially during winter, to drink water. And what happens is our blood needs water. We are dehydrated, even in winter. And it's the best way to balance sugar level, the quickest way to balance our sugar levels, because we eliminate our toxin through urination, but also we give that life force. Like we can survive sometime without food, we can't survive without water. So you can imagine how water is important to our body. And it is disregarded because, like, well, but sometimes we mistake of feeling thirsty for feeling hungry. Our body wants something and we're going to eat instead of drink, but maybe actually having a glass of water would be enough. Like, don't discount that on the basis that is too simple, right, to be true. Make sure that you look into that. And water, like food, needs planning. Like, so have water bottles everywhere available to take them with you, no matter what the season there is. Measure how much you drink, right? Have a glass of water, but also have like 2 bottles of, and okay, so I drank the whole 2 bottles, which is 2 liters of water. Fine, right? You can flavor your water with some lemon and mint. I wouldn't add a lot of lemons all the time. It may impact on your teeth. So better just to have it maybe first thing in the morning and that's it. So are you drinking enough water and what can you do about it, right? Accountability. I think that's the 5th step. And it's important to acknowledge that how lonely this journey can be, right? Lonely is one of the reasons that a lot of people give up, but it's too hard for them. Especially when you go out, you feel like I'm not part of the crowd because everyone eats what they want and I can't because I have this chronic illness, which suddenly is my limitation, rather than seeing us as superpower, right? And there is nothing wrong with you if you don't have a dessert and everyone else has it. It's nothing about them and it's nothing about you. We associate a lot of the things to the food and tell us like, oh, you can resist this dessert, you must be superhuman. No, I just don't want it, right? Whether I would love to eat it, absolutely. I love sweet things. Like we are craving, a lot of us craving sugar, crave sugar, but that's okay. I don't have to because I want to feel good. And there is nothing about me and it's nothing about you because you have the dessert and I don't. We put a lot of meaning into the food. Like it sort of defines us whether we are bad or good. And I think we need to break from that. So accountability is important because people on the same journey will help you to be on that journey and understand you're not going crazy. It is hard, that journey, and I'm here to help you and walk with you. So join local community groups or online programs like mine to feel supported. I have a program which I'm building and adding more and more people to it so that people can be accountable together on the same journey. So where you can find more accountability, right? That's the question. Is it somebody you know, somebody you want to know? Maybe it's a coach, maybe it's a local group, whatever you feel works for you. And I think you have to try different things. Like we have those groups where you go and lose weight, right? There are various around the country. Some of them are known. And it's okay to go and try them, right? But it's not for you. Make sure that you don't suffer there and be there. Quite often we feel very much so there could be 2 ways the accountability works. One-on-one, when this is only me and coach, so we can work out the issue on one-on-one. It works for a lot of people, but it could be a more expensive option. In the groups, you're gonna hear so many different stories, a lot of excuses, a lot of people's stories about what they're going through. And it can be hard to bear if you don't have that mental barriers, the mental boundaries as well around emotional health, and you already are struggling, and onto this you are adding everyone else's stories. It can be hard, right? So consider what is, maybe it's better to invest a little bit more money and time into one-on-one coaching and get this right and get my mindset, my emotional health in order so I can handle other things. Yeah. So it could go either way, right? We can be, that depends what works for you. And the last very important thing is celebration, because we don't celebrate enough, I believe, without obviously food and drink if we can. And how would it look for you, right? How would it look like for you? So would you see yourself celebrating without food and drink? I think it's very hard. Like, I can't feel like it's enough of that ideas. Like, is the celebration going for a walk with somebody without any food and drink? Is it actually a celebration, or we are making it what it should be, which should always involve maybe some kind of food and drink? But other than that, it's important to also the celebration factor itself, because we don't do that often enough. We need to celebrate our small wins, because quite often we say, okay, so I had this craving, I gave in, I went into the bakery and I bought some, I don't know, donut and whatever. And we are not thinking that, or we're not celebrating all the other times when we could resist it and it felt good. So we only just remembering that one time when we sort of failed. And again, I don't want to consider for you that, oh yeah, I went to the bakery, it's a failure. It's one step on the journey. Maybe it's not the way you wanted it to be, but that's okay. You know, failing, making mistakes, choosing not the healthiest food is part of the journey, and we just have to let it go, but also celebrate any small wins we had along the process. So how can you celebrate your own progress? How can you see your achievements? And we're going to explore a lot of that into my program, because celebration is a very important thing, even if you don't feel like, but every small thing counts. So celebration can look in so many different ways. But one of the things I celebrate, or I'm grateful for, I put at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day what I'm grateful for, how I'm celebrating today, you know. So making sure that I have that written and I took my thought out on the paper and I can see it. And if you feel like, share in your community, share with your coach, obviously, if you have one, but share with your family if you feel that they are supportive. Families can be cruel in a lot of aspects, yes. And it's not about you, it's about them, that they don't feel comfortable with the change, right? You are changing, don't know how to support you yet. They are on the journey themselves, but it's not about them, it's about you. And it's really important. I'm going to celebrate the way I feel good about it. And it doesn't matter how I'm provided, obviously, I'm respectful to others as well. But I'm not here to people please. I'm not here to please my family and tell them something, right? Or show them that, okay, so yeah, that I can't do it. Like, you know, it's interesting because I do sometimes coach couples, and it's a very interesting dynamic between a partner, between the partners, between the wife and the husband, that we have this kind of thing like, I'm going to listen to somebody else, but not necessarily my wife or my husband, right? Because I feel like they have authority about my husband, and my wife they don't have that authority. And it's an interesting thing. It's emotional intelligence. Is the kind of the feminine and masculine fight sometimes around the power in the relationship. It becomes very, very, very personal. Whereas I believe you can be quite independent when you work with somebody you don't know, right? They are the authority and they are here to help you without any kind of judgment. I think in relationships, you have a lot of judgment around you and you, like myself, and about my partner, my husband, my wife. And it's just a lot of things. We know each other inside out through different things in life. They've seen us in our real life. And we feel like we don't have that independent relationship, which is the shame, because where people succeed the most, when they have that relationship and support within their own families. But I know it takes time. So give them some time and don't try to change them first. Change yourself, which can be hard. That's why a lot of people choose to work with a coach, because they're like, I want to get stronger in my commitment. Yeah, I want to be stronger in my power. And then I go out into the world and I will show everyone, right? But first of all, I want to make sure that I process my own emotions around what I'm trying to achieve. Okay, so that was the last step. And then final, the invitation to join in my program, Reverse Diabetes Naturally. It's a 12 modules of mindset, nutrition, weight loss, a lot of accountability and exercise as well, just the kind of recommendations. But exercise is a separate thing for everybody, because, you know, that needs probably a very specific coaching. But I always say it's all about the habit change. It's all about emotional health, emotional intelligence. And if you can transform all of that with some steps and with support, you can do anything. So there are 4 modules available now. There will be more coming online, up to 12, loads of bonuses, meal plans, short videos, meditations, recommendations, loads of value for $97. I think it's just incredible price. It's gonna go up sometime in the new year. But for now, I want people to experience this self-paced program with 2 live clinics every month. So I will be on Zoom. You can join in, ask me questions. We can transform different thoughts you have. You can ask me questions about the content, and I will point you in the right direction if you feel a little bit lost. Loads of support is there for you. And I would love you to be on board if this is something you're working on at the moment. This is the lifestyle change. This is the habit change. And with everything it's in the modules, then it can really help you to transform if this is something that you want to work on. So thank you very much for being with me on this journey. And I hope that I've managed to convince you, but not only that, that I give you some help, some tips to where you can start with different things. And I know that mindset may not be the first thing to start, because it could be quite difficult, because where do I start, right? So if you don't know where to start with that, start with the thought download. Put all of the thoughts you have around your diagnosis, your chronic illness, how you feel on the paper, and start from there and feel like, how do you feel after emptying your brain on the paper, and how you can transform some of the thoughts that may be not serving you. In the coaching client relationship, you're going to see, because the coach will tell you that that thought is not serving you more. What about alternative? And what about that new thought? You can now practicing it. It may be more difficult to transform, because everyone starts with movement nutrition, because I can do it. I can just go to Dr. Google and find what I want. And provided I'm not confused, I can have a plan tomorrow. But I want you to really focus on the long-term everlasting results, rather than just another, I don't know, meal plan. Okay, take care. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to connect with you soon. Take care.